both of our experiences have been so far would be valuable. Yeah, so we land here today. And Jackie, do you have any updates since the first
Ooh.
episode?
Yes, actually, very, very exciting. Thank you. This is keeping us on track. So there was an interview with a doctor. Well, not the doctor. It's funny because to the people who think that, oh, you just go in and butcher yourself or you butcher your bodies. Um, it's crazy in so many ways because people for so long in their life have to have the struggle and then they have to decide to come out about it. And then in some cases where they're lucky enough to try and do something about it, um, then it's a long time of waiting. It's either waiting to get the funds together or waiting for the process. There's a lot of red tape, a lot of professionals you have to go through. So this was my second interview to get me started on the process. And so many questions I had because you get so many questions online, but then again, everyone's different and everyone's transition is different and everyone transitions different in their process. So I didn't know what my body would be like, what was going to be happening. I wrote them all down and I got a lot of answers, which were great. Um, what's reversible, what isn't reversible, if you decide to go down that road. Um, so it was a really thorough guide. It took me about a month or so to get the first appointment. And then they said, okay, we'll check back with you in a month and a half. So this was the check back in a month and a half. Um, but there's anything that wasn't answered was led to an answer in the future. Well, I don't know about that personally, but I know that when we speak with the doctor professional on that behalf, we'll be able to fill in those answers. And again, that's not going to be until December as well. So everything is a slow process. It takes a long time. You do a lot of thinking, planning, worrying. A lot goes on through your head. It's not a case of like, hey, I'm just going to walk in and mutilate myself. No, it's a whole long process, and there's a lot of
So,
emotions and feelings going on.
yeah, and I think there's value in the process being slow. And it is a misconception, I feel, for a lot of people that think that that there's just these clinics, down the street you can walk in and request surgery.
Yeah.
Um, and I think that's where the concern for youth comes in, thinking they can just on a whim make a decision. And that's not true. Like
Well,
the process is quite long.
and
Go on.
what's also bothersome about that is these are trained medical professionals who take Hippocratic oaths. They don't become surgeons and doctors and sign up to save lives just so they can hack people up. It's an insult to their profession and to their knowledge and to their schooling and everything they stand for. Uh, so you're like, oh, you're mutilating kids. People are mutilating themselves, and it's like, well, what about the doctors that are doing this? This isn't back alley stuff. These are credited, acclaimed professionals who want to help people as well. Um, and because of the process of how long it takes, they have to go through a process as well. It's not like they get just a slab of meat on their table and they're like, I'm going to cut you like a turkey. like, so yeah, it's there's a whole big thing. You have to step back and take a look at every single person who's involved.
What are the pronouns for a turkey?
Gobble gobble.
Um, yes, and it's not just medical, like physically medical appointments. They offer therapy.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
and I mean, again, we're speaking upon where we're located in Toronto, Canada.
Yes.
But I believe gender conforming care, is that the term for it?
Gender affirming.
Conforming?
Affirming.
Conforming. You don't want to conform.
Confirm or
Conform
conform. Yeah, sorry.
it.
You
Gender
confirm to conform?
confirming
Yeah.
care.
Affirming. Gender affirming care. Yeah.
I believe would follow the same path. That when the states was doing it, or the states that are still doing it,
And
I
fighting for it. Yeah.
believe I've heard, you're supported by a therapist. Um, and so it's quite a holistic process. I would love, it would be fabulous if, alternative therapies were included too, like
Well,
massage, getting you used to your body, like all those things. That would be fabulous. But I think you did say they address things like hair, body hair.
yes, I
Uh,
mean, I believe when it comes to surgical stuff, they might get into the process of massage down the lane, down the road. Um, but just what you touch up on therapy, the great thing about that is it's not therapy just for that. Um, they're not like, okay, only bring in your gender dysphoria here, or only bring in your transness. No, it's you can go through anything.
trans only.
Yeah, get out. That's all we're accepting. Uh, so it's for everything. It's an umbrella for everything, which I think is quite phenomenal because yeah. So yeah, they also yeah.
Well, I would think that for a majority of trans people, especially if they're coming out later in life, there is some um, definitely traumas or um, anxieties, depression that would kind of come along with that if you're having to mask who you are, if you're dealing with family members rejecting you, the fears, if you're going through relationship difficulties because of it. Like, there's so many things that therapy would be needed for that it makes complete sense.
Completely. And I think, to add on that, a lot of people see trans as, oh, these kids coming out. Um, when we were working together downtown, you and I outside, I had the amazement and honor of meeting someone who was 72 years old, uh, AFAB, assigned female at birth, had a twin brother, male, AMAB, assigned male at birth. And it wasn't like they, because that's who they are now, they're they, them, not he, she.
Mhm.
Uh, they always felt a certain way their whole life that they couldn't really describe or explain. At 72 years old, they came out and said, "Hey, I'm androgynous. I'm not he, she. I'm they, them." And they were 79 when I was talking with them about this. So it's so late in life. Some people might just think, "Oh, you're so old. Why does it matter? Why do you care?" But we don't consider the people that are this age that this is happening to, or the people in their 40s or 50s who have kids and maybe brand new grandkids that are like, hey, now I'm coming out. Am I going to lose my spouse? Am I going to lose my children? Am I going to lose my grandchildren? Um, so there's such a wide range there that it's incredible that all these things can be covered and looked at because it's not one simple thing for one person. There's so many factors that need to be included.
Yeah, I agree. And I think there's quite a large movement going on right now for the trans community where a lot of people are feeling safer. I feel, I have kids in school, in elementary and high school ages, and it isn't uncommon for them to have classmates that are coming out non-binary, which I think tends to be the more common identity at that age, maybe because there's a bit of fear and confusion.
Mm.
But I know of one trans boy, and that wasn't really common when we were younger. It was more common for, that would be a movement of like gay and lesbian, coming out. And now there's just this way more room for all these identities. And again, this generation coming up seems to have uh, space for it.
Yeah.
And I wonder it too sometimes if parents and grandparents see these kids coming out and maybe they feel safer coming out. Like maybe they're like, hey, like maybe it's kind of making things click for them. I don't know. I'm just speculating.
No, I agree with that because that's kind of ties in with when people are like, "Oh, where are all these, trans people coming from now?" Well, we were always around, we always existed, but now it's
What's in the
become
water?
yeah, right? Now it's a safer area in some areas, or just more known and more accepted, or just mainly more known, not accepted. But some people have come out, they're not accepted, and they're just like, I'm not alone out there, Um, Trans people have always existed. It just became not a safe space for a long ass time to be trans. So it got quieted down, but always been there.
Yeah, I think it's fascinating seeing the history, different cultures, some that do accept other genders, third genders. Is it, I could be wrong, Aboriginals that have like 5 recognized genders?
I wouldn't know about that, but I
Something to
wouldn't.
research.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised, because the more I research older cultures and people are like, my favorite argument for being trans is when they dig up your bones in 200 years, they're going to know that you're this gender. I'm like, well, first of all, oh no, I'll be so embarrassed in 200 years when I'm bones. Secondly, no, they're not, because butch women, feminine men, even they say skeletons that they're digging up now of like old bones, they're seeing what they're buried with, their earrings, their jewelries, what is around them. Is it feminine? Is it masculine? And they're seeing some of these as both. And it's like, it's a stupid argument, and I love it, but that's going to be the case.
Yeah, it's a very scientific argument, and it just brings to question what makes up a gender. Like, yes, there's physical traits that you can say if you have a uterus and ovaries and have a period and can get pregnant, you know, physically, that is someone who is female. But what is the experience in your mind and in your body?
Well,
If
here's the
you,
thing too: is everything you just sorry, continue.
well, it's okay.
Everything you just said, but what if that person is infertile, so they don't have their period, but they have uterus and ovaries, but they also have a set of testicles inside of them that hasn't descended? Does that still make them a woman? Like,
It's, I mean, not yes, but I agree with what you're saying.
yes.
It's almost as if it's a spectrum of some kind. But then you also, and I think we read something somewhere that we had wanted to look into further, that, the genetic makeup or hormonal makeup of people that are male, female, intersex. Like if someone is a trans man,
Yeah.
if you were to do like a hormonal panel, would there be hormones that show already that there is a physiological close, kind of they're closer to being a woman? This is just me being curious. Was someone intersex, or someone like, is there a spectrum of physiology and hormones that make someone like,
I mean,
oh,
aren't
it's
aren't we- aren't we all born with the same like
yeah,
chromosomes
it's
that
the
make
same
us
for
women, and then it's
we're
the
all
other one we
women.
get? But yeah, yeah. But then we get the other one that turns us male. But even then, there's some that have both. Like I think even
Yeah.
Dean Withers did like a fabulous debate on this before. He made some really good points, really intelligent. I don't want to touch on that yet until I get my ass more educated on it. Uh,
Uh-huh. So let's table that.
I
Or
heard
if
someone the
anybody
other day
knows
say you can
more.
determine a sex by scraping the inside of someone's cheek, and I just laughed and I said, like, I don't even know what to say to that. You're gonna get like a history of DNA, sure, but you're not gonna
Yeah.
get,
If you find semen in my mouth, I am a man.
yeah. Oh God. Oh.
um, anyway, yeah, there's so many interesting things that I don't think have been explored. But I think, coming around, what I want, my point that I was not getting across clearly was to say, you dig up a skeleton and you say, this is the skeleton of a man, but you don't know that person's living experience inside their body,
Yeah, exactly. And And why does it matter at that point, you know? I mean,
Well, it seems a little, I mean, it seems like one of those things that's none of anyone's business of like, if you feel a certain way, who am I to say no?
what
Because your voice is too deep and you have testicles, so you can't feel like you're a woman.
what
How do I know?
what I would say is kind of a resembling thing, and this is a bit of a touchy topic, is excuse me. Since making my posts, whether it's anything I'm doing onto social media, is having other trans people post and say, "Oh, you're not trans. There needs to be a standard. You can't just, put on a dress and a wig and call yourself trans." And I said, first of all, I think that's a compliment that you think my hair's a wig, because no, this is the real deal. And people pay good money for a wig like this, but no. It's one thing to grow up or feel this way or have the struggle and come out and know that maybe society, the people around you, your family don't know, don't understand, don't get, or feel like you have to validate to them, to yourself. But to turn and say that to another trans person um, is really terrible. I mean, statistics show that a lot of hate in the trans community is also from members of the trans community. I mean, I've had trans women who I hate to use the word pass. Some people go for pass hard. I don't really care for that word. So who pass as cisgender women and say, "Oh, well, you're not a trans woman. You're giving us bad name, blah blah blah." And I'm like, "Well, so what do I have to do? Do I have to figure out myself, come to terms with myself, come to society, everyone around me, line up myself, get my funds and everything and like put together, get on my hormones, go for my surgery, and then 7 or 8 years later, I can be like, hey, I'm a trans woman. I started out as a man, and then for 7 years, I was nothing, but now I'm officially a trans woman." Like, what does it take for that final step to happen? And who are you to say something like this when you've gone through the struggle yourself? When you've looked masculine and everyone's looked at you and been like, you're not a woman, you're a man. To carry that pain and the hurt should have the understanding not to pass it on to someone else, but to look at them and be like, hey, don't worry, you have potential, like someone who doesn't like the form of their body at the gym and takes a picture. And they're like, and I'm going to get bigger and look better. And then the gym rats comment, doing good, bro. Keep at it, keep pumping, blah, blah, blah. They're not saying like, oh, you're not going to get there. That's not going to happen. So many of them remember being in that situation. So you want to do better for the next. You don't want to pass on what's been poisoned to you and send that downward. It's like a snake eating itself. It's terrible. We need community. Trans people need community. That should be the one thing that's known and understood. So to turn on your own community is just terrible. Just absolutely. There's already people who want LGB without the T. And now T people don't even want the T. Like it's
Yeah. You
scary.
think you- uh, it would be nice to think how like that would just be a given that the trans community supports each other, and it's pretty sad.
And not to
There's
say it isn't.
some
This is just, parts of it. I'm not blanket coding here.
well,
So yeah, please continue.
you've said a couple times you've had comments of such.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it is, you think it would be an obvious just supportive community, so that is sad. And it also do you find it led you to be more reluctant in coming out because you didn't feel like you could pass? What did that play a role in your reluctancy, or did you
Yeah, I think so.
not?
I think at first, I mean, as mentioned, the past, it was like, how can I do this? And it wasn't until I came to terms with seeing female women of history who, are warriors, who are fighters, and then even seeing cisgender women who are going into bathrooms now and being questioned about their gender because they don't look exactly like a woman, or in like women go out and don't shave their legs, they don't shave their armpits. It was grasping the reality of what real women are that can look like anything. There you go. And just getting comfortable with that and being like, you know what? I used to be a skinny, small little weakling. And then I was like, I'm going to learn martial arts. Years later, bam, I'm going to work out and get my body bigger. Years later, bam, I became comfortable with myself. I understood myself more. I understood kind of people a little bit better, just like the psychology of even what a freaking endocrine system is. So it took a lot of knowledge and understanding to be more comfortable and just being like, yep, this is me and this is it. And it would be great in 4 years. I can look back on this right now and be like, wow, that's what I used to look like. Amazing. Look at me now. Look at the change. Holy shit.
Yeah, that is kind of exciting to think of where you'll be in a few years.
Yeah.
Um, Another point, I think, when we were speaking about this earlier, is not everyone's goal is to pass as their cisgender gender. And I think some of the biggest restrictions are these gender conforming ideas to say, these are the traits that, you need to check off if you're going to identify as this gender. You need breasts, you need to not have body hair, you need to get rid of your bottom, you need to have long hair, have jewelry, wear makeup. Who is it to say that those are the things needed in order to identify as the gender you feel? You could stop right where you are in your transition. And if you feel that's the end of your transition, who's to say it's not? Your gender identity is still absolutely valid. And I think that pressure that trans people have from other trans people, it isn't fair. And I hope that they can learn to love themselves more and their own journey and have compassion for the individual journey.
Yes, like respect the process, especially when you've been such a part of it. Again, I'm not trying to bring any negativity to this. I just want it to be open and understood.
Right. Now for a fun question.
Ooh, I
Let's
love
lighten
fun.
things up a
Yeah.
little. I had this thought the other day.
Oh, I'm excited for this. Okay, yeah, come at
So
me.
have you considered, so your um, male presenting name was Jack.
Yeah.
Have you considered a middle name? Because
Oh,
now
I've
you're
always
Jack.
had it.
What's your middle name? You never told me.
I have. You just never.
What?
Yeah.
When did you tell me your middle name?
What is the middle of my Instagram handle?
Rip?
There you go.
That's
I
your
love that
February?
face. What was that? What was that? Jesus. What's your middle name? Skunky? Ugh.
Huh. Jackie Rip?
It started with Jack because
Yeah.
partly the big fascination of Jack the Ripper. For even as a kid, obsessed with that shit. Lots of video games that even presented him as a character I was always on. A big part was also Rip Torn.
Okay.
Loved him as an actor. Always thought he was really awesome. And as a kid, I was like, "There's no way that's his real name. There's no way that can be true." And then growing up, watching his movies, just sticking in my brain and realizing you don't have to have the name you're born with. It can be anything, and that was a good example of it. So that's, it was a combination of a few things like that, and also, because I'm always freaking ripped. But yeah, I even considered, would I change my name even from Jackie, because I went with Jack for different reasons before in my life, and then I came out afterwards, and I'm like, am I still going to do that? And then I've even thought of and played with other names, and I'm like, I can't see that, but I don't know. Maybe it's even time to switch up the middle name now. Nothing's official, so we can get it changed.
I was just curious what it would be like. I had something in my head.
Glimmer.
Glamour. Glamour. Jackie Sparkle.
Glam.
Um,
Sparkle Stone.
I don't know. It was just something that occurred to me because I was like, wow, you get to change your whole name.
Yeah.
I think
I
I
didn't
remember in
consider that
grade
either.
4, I
Yeah.
wanted my name to be Vanessa.
Oh, Vanessa. When
But I
my
was
yeah
stuck with Jennifer, with like the 8 other Jennifers in my
Jennifer.
grade. Jennifer.
When my sister was 4, she wanted her name to be Alice Poopstring. So
It's good humor. It runs in the family.
there you go. Runny poop. So what were we on next?
Let's see. We spoke about, well, just some of the negative things that are kind of interchanged, I guess, within the trans community. But what are some of the positive things? Again, going back to like the positive comments you get.
Oh,
I think even from like the really older generation that you would not think, and you're from a smaller suburb outside of Toronto, so I'm always so pleasantly like surprised at all the compliments you get, even to the point I'm like, what about me? Don't I look
how about me? As I grab you tight and go, yes, we do. Thank you.
my pettiness.
That's all good. Pettiness is adorable.
I think it's sometimes I feel petty. You get a lot of
That's okay.
attention.
That's okay. I mean, but you know what the reality is, I mean, my whole life I've always gotten a lot of attention regardless. Even in my camo pants and shirt, I'd be walking down the street and I'd get the weirdest interactions from people. You remember Mexico? The airport?
Yeah. At the airport.
When you went to the bathroom and came out and that.
Yeah, so I went to the washroom. I was in there for like 2 minutes and I come out and Jackie is hugging another, like this dude, and
Airport
this
employee.
dude is crying.
Yeah.
Like in that time, Jackie got to like this root of this guy's past familial trauma. I don't know what you did. Something about a family member that died. Anyway,
yeah. We struck a chord together, and this wonderful, amazing Mexican guy who works at the airport is bawling his eyes out to me, and Jen's like, I'm not even surprised. And I was like dressed not too feminine or anything then, was it? I was just like,
no. Yeah, because we were headed to Mexico.
No, we're heading back from Mexico. We're leaving.
Were we?
Yeah, that's when I found the bracelet. But the point is, it was the attention. It's no matter what, I'm getting attention. So
you're an open person. I will say, I think you're a great person for, a lot of people don't know, or they're scared of talking to a trans person, to misgender them, do mispronouns. They're afraid. So they avoid it, or they have questions. But I've watched you turn even like a negative comment around. You're very, you have a de-escalating way about you.
Thank you.
Where most people might be combative or defensive. You're like, hey, no problem. Like, this is just, you called me man, but I'm not a man. And you're gentle with the way you correct people. And I think you let them feel safe
Well, thank you. Well,
Um, yeah.
there's two things there. So when that comes to the older generation of compliments that we're talking before, I'd like to just put a little pin in that because I want to get back to that. And this one again is, yeah, because this is another reason why we're doing this podcast, is because we've had interactions like that, and I don't mind engaging with these people because, again, I've had such a positive experience. I have my self confidence, I have my community, my people around me, uh, and you know, the people who have said, "I'm sorry, I was just worried about asking," say, "No, no, it's okay. It's just you got to realize if some people are upset, it's because they don't know you. They don't know you want to understand, and they think you've just been like everyone else, just questioning them. So it's a trigger response to like glare at or snap back at." Um, and that's genuinely the people who might not have the community, might not have the support they need. Uh, which, when you feel isolated, is a lot. It's really, really hard. So, in a situation like that, it's not normally because someone's being an asshole. It's because they might be going through a really hard time, um, and they're exhausted of explaining the same thing over and over, especially to random people. Where with me, I'm like, I like to be engaging. I like to talk with people. I like to give them the education because I have a system where I can fall back on it safely, and even with you, talk afterwards. Like, so again, I'm really lucky in that situation. And then here we are on podcast episode number 2.
So for those of uh, people out there, those people out there, those of
You
us,
people.
what? I, so you're not offended if somebody is unsure, they can just say, "Hey, what's your pronouns?"
Oh yeah, completely.
If they don't want to assume um, that that's not an offensive thing. I think also the fear of someone that's, you know, I guess everyone just doesn't want to offend, but in not asking, it's probably more offensive,
Of course.
right?
A lot is said when nothing is said. You know, it's left up to the imagination. It's left up to the anxiety, and people can easily take a thought and run with it.
Yeah, and it's not rude. It's not rude to
No, I mean,
ask.
knowledge is power, and it's how
If
you
someone
ask
gets,
as well, as long as you're not
well, yeah,
condescending in it, right? um,
no, I don't think.
yeah, but
How would
again,
someone ask condescendingly?
to what you went back with before, the compliments is yeah, people in the community have been amazing to have. You know, some people reach out and be like, hey, I appreciate that. I was able to relate to some of that in this sense, and I respect and love that everyone's story is different. But if there's any relation or similarities or references you think, then that's great, and that's what someone's actually said. They sent a really heartfelt message. I'm not going to out anyone or anything, but I knew them from a few years ago, uh, working up north, and when I was up there, I was the epitome of masculinity. Um, so I was in good with the people, and you know, had some good connections. And but the thing is I kind of knew the way of life out there. Good people, really awesome, but a lot of people who live away from cities and in small areas, in rural areas, tend to have kind of a narrow way of thinking, which is usually why they're in areas like that, which, you know, so it's hard for them to see or recognize some things, such as even people coming out. Um, so it wasn't until, you know, I came back to Toronto, and then I saw this person in a production office maybe a few years ago, and I was like, oh, damn, I remember them from up north. Pretty cool. To have that person reach out and say, it wasn't until I left up north and came down to Toronto, is when I was actually comfortably able to come out and say, this is who I am, feel comfortable with it, and even find a community. Uh, So I think to recognize that is amazing. It's just to see someone that I knew overworked with see this and have them say that and hear that is, I think, freaking amazing, and it really means a lot. And I also just think it goes to show that I don't think I can even go back up north and work. I might get jumped at night. um, but it goes to show, I think, that when you're in these small areas and things are so hard and so difficult, I think like the best thing you can do is probably get closer to a bigger city, because it's the bigger cities where everything's melting together. You can find, Little Italy, Little Japan, you can find Church Street, you can find these areas where people are close enough to you that you're going out for dinner, or you're going out to a club, or you're going out and getting a drink and just dressed how you want, being how you want, and seeing all the people around you like that. You have no anxiety, you have no ease. The only thing on your mind is like, what kind of drink do I want next? Your biggest worry for the night was what shoes you're just going to put on, but knowing you can put on any kind of shoes you freaking want. Um, so I think that's so key, is getting the community, no matter where you are. It's hard when you're there, and it's hard when you're alone. Get close to a city, get close to a bigger population, uh, find yourself, and the rest of your life will follow.
Yes. Ideally, and historically speaking, the cities are a melting pot of for all.
For all.
And I think in the first episode, also for those who can't leave their situation, these online communities have a lot of value. So some of it can be a little toxic depending on where you're going. Like as you're saying, some Facebook comments can turn negative, but overall,
yeah.
like these Discord, Twitch, and I think there is more and more of them, more and more groups, even if they're just online. Just knowing there's other people out there going through those similar things that you are.
Well, it all starts somewhere, right?
Yeah.
And it just looking is planting the seed. It's the start of trying to find better things, right?
Yeah, and positive comments, when you walk around, have a positive comment.
Right.
You want that to be infectious.
Yes.
And it
Pay it
usually
forward.
is. So, if you kind of exude that and compliment other people, the hope would be it would come back at some point.
It's paying it forward. It's karma. It's easier to pass good or vibe. Well, no, I don't know. I'm not getting into that right now. Geez. Was there anything else we wanted to get into? I felt like this is a little short. Are we still going? What do you think?
I will say one thing that I think is cool about you.
Oh,
Why so
I can
cool.
say plenty of things that I think is cool about you, but we could be here for a while.
Going back to your interactions with people, you can kind of be a warrior for those. There's a lot of people not as big and strong as you.
What
And
are you
so
talking about?
when there has been negative comments, you have, when you're not calm and patient, when someone pushes you,
Yeah.
you stand up in a bit of an aggressive way, not
Yeah.
violent.
No.
But you can put
Confrontational.
people in their place without fear of repercussions. The way, if someone my size came out, I'm smaller, if you
Yeah.
can't tell.
Little tiny.
I am littler. There's a lot of people out there that physically wouldn't feel confident in standing up for themselves if they get negative comments about how they look. And sometimes when I see you put people in their place and call them out, how perverted it is that they're asking what your genitalia looks like.
To random strangers across the street downtown. Yeah.
Yeah. But what it does, and I know you always feel bad after because you tend to hit 10 quickly, not violent again, but just
No. Yeah.
in what you're saying. But I always tell you, that person's going to think twice about calling out to somebody else on the street about what their genitals look like or why are you dressed that way. And sometimes that's needed. Sometimes people need to be told to shut the fuck up and mind their own business. And I really, not that I'm encouraging it, but at the same time, when you have certain physical traits where you aren't afraid physically, like obviously someone could have a gun or a knife,
Oh yeah,
which I get scared when, you do. But, if it's like, some 14-year-old running his mouth.
trying to look
Um,
cool in front of his friends.
I don't know, not that Jackie swears at 14-year-olds, not often.
No, we've
Um,
we've what we've had two 18-year-olds.
yeah,
One of
my
them
point
pop
is,
off, and it's like, but you're not going to be the
yeah,
reason you do this in school or whatever, and some kid goes home and hurts himself because of you. So
yeah, you
yes,
stand up for yourself, and in doing so, you're standing up for those that wouldn't feel safe. So that is something I like about
I
you.
I well, I thank you. I appreciate that. And that's why my Twitch bio says Trans Avenger.
Yeah.
I am fortunate in the case where I've built my body to such a way, but it's not for that reason. And I do appreciate when I have these confrontations with people, and I'll get in their face or I'll stand up for something, and their first thought is, "Oh, what are you gonna do? Beat me up?" And I laugh because it's like,
Show your
no,
muscle.
yeah. That's the thing is like, oh no, I don't need to, because if things get violent, which they shouldn't, you're going to heal from that injury in a week, 3 weeks, a month, 2 months, whatever. And then you're just going to be more pissed off. But if I can put you in your place and slap you with knowledge, educate you, embarrass you, make you look like the fool that you are, and have you thinking about it after, then not only have we avoided violence, but they're going to take that with them for maybe the rest of their life, the next few months. Um, I remember getting on the train right after I was leaving somewhere, getting on the train, and I had my two puppies with me. I was going to a celebration of life from someone at work who passed away, and right on the train was three bicycles where they shouldn't have been, blocking uh, 7 handicap spots, disability spots. And then the three cyclists on their own, sitting in 3 different spots, blocking up 2, 4, 6 chairs each. So I'm trying to struggle around and put my dogs, my service animals, over onto the seat and my other stuff. And they start getting lippy with me about, oh, don't touch the bikes, don't scratch the bikes, blah, blah, blah. And they were really poking at it because I had my sweater on. I was dressed very feminine, but I wasn't like ripping and raging. You can see all my muscles bulging. um and one guy was thinking it's going to get physical with 3 of them, and I literally snapped and in a really loud voice put them in their place of like, what the hell are you 3 idiots doing? You're taking up this place. This isn't even allowed. You're sitting there like pieces of shit. This is a full train, blah, 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 blah. I just went off to them on the point where they're almost shrinking in their chairs after. And I was like, I can't deal with this, or I'm going to smack these guys. I grabbed my dogs and I went up to the second floor. And again, the train was covered in people. Everyone had a seat. And I just said to the people, I'm very sorry about that, everyone. It just got a little upset at some assholes down there. And they were like, no, we heard the same thing. Where we heard the whole thing. That was great. Are you okay? Do you need anything? I'm like, no, that's okay, thanks. And I just sat in the seat, like shaking and boiling, like I'm not gonna throw anyone out the train window.
So you're not just a trans Avenger, you're a disability Avenger.
I'm a train avenger.
You stand up for all you stand up for all those who need it.
Well, I don't.
I think.
Yeah, I mean, even just yesterday, I pulled into a parking lot, and I see a young woman, in her early 30s, sitting there on her phone in the disability spot. And I was like, "Excuse me, miss, you can't be here without a permit. And she goes, oh, the person I'm going in is disabled, blah, blah, blah. And I said, no, that's okay, but you can't be here without a permit. You're going to get a ticket. And she's like, they have the permit on them, blah. And I said, look, you're arguing with the wrong person. As someone who has a vehicle that owns one of these, it can't be on them. It has to be on the vehicle. I'm telling you this. So if anyone else, like a cop comes up, doesn't bust you. And she starts yelling and freaking out at me, telling me to get the hell away from her car. And I'm like, all right, I got no time for this shit. Like, I'm glad she's pissed off. I planted the seed. Great. And if you're working right now and you have a client to pick up, good, because you're definitely going to think twice before you go to the next freaking handicap spot when you don't deserve to be there.
Yeah. You walk through life bravely.
Thank you. It was actually walk with
And
a
it's,
purpose.
well, I think you recognize that you can utilize certain traits you do have to defend other people that may not feel comfortable. Like if maybe another person in a walker was, going by and saw this woman parked in a disability parking spot. She may not feel safe to say, "Hey, maybe you shouldn't do that. I needed that spot." Who knows? Like I think you have a confidence and you use it well.
Thank you. A big part of is psychology, right? You got to understand, and that's some of it comes from the fighting past, some of it comes from just wanting to learn more about yourself and more about people. But psychology is a great weapon. How you do it, what you say to people, the way you approach them. It's not about just, you do some push-ups and you get some muscles and you're like, people are going to listen to me now and I'm going to beat them up. No, no, no. It's definitely a part of the approach. When people look at you and go, oh shit. But yeah, a lot of how you do it, what you say, and what the situation is. So make psychology your best friend.
I do feel, just going back to, people that come up and comment, whether it's negative or positive. I think we spoke about this like a month ago.
Mm.
In the past year, for sure, maybe even a little more, there's been less people coming and saying negative things. And I attributed that to what's going on in the States. Because as horrible as it is with Trump as the president and, taking away the rights of transgendered people, it's also
Genocide.
giving voice and attention and compassion to this huge problem. Like, whereas a lot of people before may not have paid attention so much to what transgender people face in their day-to-day, in their journey, in their transition. But now that it's being taken away and they're being, there's beatings and there is discrimination and there is rights being taken away and the world is watching.
Mm-hmm.
I feel there is more compassion and understanding for trans rights. And since that time, I can't remember the last negative comment that has been shouted out to you. And again, it wasn't often. I would say the majority were positive. But I like to think, and I could be wrong, that there is a bigger force of positivity coming out now because of this stomping down that is hopefully going to fail.
I agree. I think it's almost like because there's so much oppression, people are pushing back and they know they have to push back even harder. So if we're getting on a scale of 1 to 10, getting pushed back by 8, the allies are coming in at a 10, like almost overcompensating in some cases, which is needed and which is amazing. So I will say, yes, everywhere I've been going, you do get the compliments. I've discovered a great community of trans people, just around here in the area. And it's really awesome. It's really beneficial. It's like, because everyone's aware there's so much negativity, there's so much bad stuff happening. There's like, a call to arms right now where the allies are coming up and Hey, Toby. The allies are coming up and saying, "Hey, we have to be there. We have to support our trans brothers and sisters." Um, Even when you and I did the Pride March in in Toronto, the Trans March, it was lined with so many supporters and so many wonderful people. It wasn't like it was just, oh, the trans is a small community, so there's a few people in the march and there's a few people on the sides. No, there were so many allies in the march and so many allies lined on the side, and it was just like emotional to see the support. So, uh, yeah, hopefully when the survival of everything negative that's happening in the states, and I say survival because it's not easy, it's not thriving. When that happens, and the powers are exchanged and someone else is in place, hopefully there can still be that huge overcompensating pushback of trying to repair it and be there and fix things and show more recognition. It's one thing to walk around in public now and you know someone sees me and smiles and keeps walking versus walking and they're at the door and then they hold it open. They're like, "Oh, hello, how's it going?" It's like they're making a point and going out of their way to being like, "Hey, I see you, I acknowledge you, I accept you. Hope you're doing good," and you're like, that's nice. It goes from a fear of like, can I go out in this dress to like, oh, I hope I don't forget milk when I go out. you know?
Yeah, that's beautiful. And I hope that's everyone's experience to come.
Yes, hopefully there's going to
And
be a
there is
day where you're like,
hope.
I'm trans, but I don't care.
Yeah, that's, you know, that's the goal. That's the goal. And it doesn't, I'm sure it feels like it's going the opposite direction for those in the States and in other countries. Um, but I think you're right. I think there's going to be a massive boomerang effect. And I think it's
Yes.
already growing. I think the voices are loud and they're going to get louder. Um, and once certain people are gone,
Yes.
it's going to be a force, that's the hope.
Yeah.
So
Um that's that's literally it. And I know a couple of trans intersex people in the States, and just based on what they've told me in their stories, and I've actually spoken to some of them being like, "Hey, do you want to come on the show sometime?" Because I think their input would be very valuable and very amazing. Um, it it breaks my heart, and hearing these stories are like, holy shit. And I think there needs to be that much more awareness that should be spread about it and about what's happening. Because to hear about it and be like, oh, that sucks, but then to know these people and connect with them and then hear about this and you're like, fuck, I wish there was something I could do. Like, holy shit. So,
well, we're doing this for now.
yeah, I was gonna say, like, I don't even know how to end that because I'm at such a loss of
Yeah,
words. Yeah.
it is. Yeah. But I mean, this is it. Being verbal, talking, supporting, um, giving voice to, recognizing, not ignoring. Like this is
Yes.
all part of it. So we're doing this for now and hopefully it
Hopefully ongoing.
helps.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
that's I guess that's all we can ask for, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So I think we covered a good few topics today.
I would I do too, and I would like to say, any comments or questions will never go missed. So if anyone wants to have any comments or any questions, they're all going to be written down. We'll spend, the next episode, the first few minutes covering any of these things, just so we can give some people some answers. And then any other questions and comments we get, we can either get for at the end of the show, and then anything while we're offline, we can get when we air again.
Yes, and we're always open for feedback and constructive criticism.
Mm-hmm.
I
Gotta be
think
constructive.
there's yeah, I think there's a couple of, topics that came up today I want to research more about.
Yeah, you kind of hit
But
me on left field with that. I'm like, damn, okay. but let's do it.
Right. I mean, it's a conversation, so I don't
Mhm.
pre-plan what I'm gonna say.
This is
Um,
the unscripted
it just
transcripts.
comes out.
Yeah,
That's the whole point.
we are unscripted. This is true.
Uh, unscripted
Unscripted.
scripture.
Yeah, there you. Oh, there you go.
I don't know.
We'll
Um,
figure out something.
yeah, but that's okay. It's pondering. And
Mhm.
so as things come out, it doesn't necessarily mean it's coming from like a knowledgeable place. It's a place of curiosity and interest in things that we can definitely look into further.
Maybe we'll get some anthropologists and some biologists in the chat to be like, "You guys are idiots!" Haha.
Yeah. Well, starts all good podcasts
There
with
you
two idiots
go.
talking.
Hey, I
We'll
can
get
name a few
smarter
of
as
them
we
out there.
go.
Yeah, I can.
Yeah. It all
Oh,
starts with a thought.
yes, this is it.
So,
Thank you for
okay.
your thoughts on this. I appreciate it.
Thank you for your thought. Thank you for thinking.
Well, it's not often it happens. Okay, so thank you everyone for joining us on Transcripts. I'm Jackie,
And I'm Jen.
and hopefully we catch you next time.
Yes.